like the discussion regarding that topic. Right now, we have 3 county commissioners who are elected at large. And I think we have a track record of, it's been 20 plus years since there's been a county commissioner that has lived outside of Central County. 20 plus since north, 20 plus since south of Newport. Now, that would say if it takes that long, that maybe we should have a board or districts or zones. But at this point, I wouldn't say a positive. I would too want to discuss it, see the pros and cons, and then advocate for such.
And Mr. Anderson, we've got 2 minutes for your summation for your candidacy for Lincoln County Commissioner, position number 3.
In addition to the 3 points that I tried to make in my opening statements, and that being, I bring a fresh perspective to opportunities and challenges in the county, not making a career out of an elected position, and my management abilities and the managing of this big workforce for producing and measuring results and accountability. I'd like you to think about, if elected, I would be the only commissioner that has ever been in local government of the 3. And when you think of, there are 7 cities in Lincoln County making up over 50% of the population, contributing over 58% of the assessed value, real estate assessed value, that's the base for property taxes, that revenue to the county. I think there's some real opportunities to better understand and work with the cities that I currently have. I've been meeting with the mayors for the last 4 years, every 2 months. We have a lot in common, and I'd like to see the county be involved in that. The other is, as I just indicated, it's been 20 years since we've had a commissioner live outside central the county, and that's an important element. The other is my ability to establish and promote positive relationships, and I point to ODOT and highways. 4 years ago, we all know, road projects in Lincoln City were dead, unfunded. Today, that's operating, going ahead, fully funded. Plus, what you probably don't know is there's 2 or 3 other projects on 101 in Lincoln City that have already been approved by ODOT and funded. They just don't come online until 2016, 2017. So we've turned that around as a relationship. And with the Sledge Tribe as well, who's been a huge partner, our largest employer in the county. And I'm proud to say just a great relationship with the city of Lincoln City today. Finally, the accessibility. One of the things that I throw out is, how do you get hold of your elected officials? And just look at the way this mayor has been out and about, different places, different locations, different times, informal and formal settings, just so you could raise questions.
Mr. Anderson, Dick Anderson, a candidate for Lincoln County Commissioner, position number 3. How you doing? Also running for re-election for Lincoln County Commissioner, position number 3 is Terry Thompson, Lincoln County Commissioner. Mr. Thompson.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting to this event. Thanks to the tribe for all your help in organizing this. It's important that the public hears from their candidates. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my experience. 6 years as state representative, and then 2 years as a lobbyist, and 12 years as a county commissioner makes me effective at working for you in all kinds of entities that a new person probably won't be able to do for several years. It takes time to get to know every person that you're going to have to deal with, particularly people in Salem. Being a state representative has a big advantage for Lincoln County in lobbying for the things that are important to us in state politics. I work a lot with Kurt Schrader. He's been a friend of mine. In fact, since the day he got into politics, he came to me and asked me, how does a moderate Democrat exist in politics? And I guess I must have told him the secret, because he's doing a great job. He is, in order to be an effective county commissioner in Lincoln County, it takes teamwork. And I mean a team of people that can get along, divide up the amount of work that you have to do. You got to work in all these areas, homelessness. I work in natural resources. That's my strong suit. Doug works in a lot of the budgeting issues. He's working with ODOT. I'm working with the local county commissioners. We have to get along and we have to respect each other. I think that's one thing we've accomplished, because if you're not aware, Lincoln County is considered to be one of the healthiest counties budgetarily in the state, or at least in the rural state, because of the teamwork that we all divide up. We're a lot of places. I'm not on every issue, but I'm sure that Doug's in certain areas. He comes up here a lot, I come up here a lot. We kind of divide it up. The other day, Chamber of Commerce meeting, I said, okay, Doug, you go to Newport, I'll come to Lincoln City. There's one of us tries to be all over. So it isn't just one person trying to cover it all, and that takes a team. We do have a banker on the team already, so keep that in mind. My unique experience in natural resources has helped in all kinds of areas, developing NOAA. Now I'm working on the Coast Guard helicopter meeting. There's a meeting Wednesday night. If you can attend, please be there. I know that Kurt's going to be there. This is important for all of us in Lincoln County. That may be the only helicopter, because the one in Newport is the only one that's not in a tsunami zone. So we need to make sure it gets back here and stays here in Newport, or in Newport, but in all the Central Coast. My plans, if reelected, is to work hard on the OSU campus project. I've already been involved from day one. The county's put some money up to help them get some studies going. This is going to be a big deal because it will bring better higher education to the Central Coast, but it will also tie together, if everything goes together the way I want to see it happen, it's going to improve the community college system moving up to it. And I think I'm just about 3 minutes.
Mr. Thompson, question number 1 we have, will Oregon follow California's lead and ban genetically modified salmon? How will you support or discourage this?
I am not an expert on genetics, but I know a lot about salmon, and I think God created the earth, and salmon naturally is the optimum advantage, and rather than just try to get bigger salmon, I think we should try to get more of them by improving our environment.
Next question, how do you as a county commissioner in Newport support Lincoln City?
Say that again, so I get it exactly right.
How do you as a county commissioner in Newport support Lincoln City particularly?
How do you do it has always been a challenge, because you can't be everywhere and it's a big county. I try to spend as much time as I can up here. Anything I see that can create jobs in this area, I promote. One of the areas that I think we can actually do in the future is to make, if you looked at our economic study, it came out that senior citizens are about 50% of the entire budget of Lincoln County. That's the money that's transferred in Social Security. That's the money from their investments. That's the one area that we can do a better job in the north end and the whole county, is to make Lincoln County have better health care, more livable for senior citizens. That way you can retain those people here longer, and it makes better jobs. So my object is in the future to make sure I'm a part of the north end in trying to create better livability for senior citizens.
Okay, what do you see as the number 1 issue facing Lincoln County today?
Well, right now, today, on Wednesday, it's going to be getting that helicopter there. That's a moving ball all the time. And being involved, the biggest one is livable jobs, but living wage jobs is absolutely the biggest challenge we've got. And to make sure that the whole county gets living wage jobs right now, because of the port, Newport, our economy in Newport is doing better for the average person that's there. But like I say, we don't have a port in Lincoln City. So by improving senior citizens, making a better livable area, we can create more jobs that can distribute the money so more people have living wage jobs.
And Terry, you have 2 minutes for final summation for your candidacy for re-election Lincoln County Commissioner.
I've worked hard as a county commissioner. I spend a lot of time on the road. It's not an easy job. There's a lot of people you need to talk to if you're going to be effective. You need someone with experience in Salem, because a lot of the money is passed down from Salem. That's been one of my strongest suits. I'm going to maintain that relationship. I'm gonna keep working with people from Congress because there's so many issues that we have to deal with them on. Quite simply, I think I've worked hard. I'd like to stay here and do this job again and keep the team together that we have now at the county commissioner, because we have a great team, not just in who's elected as commissioners, but the people in our office. And I feel a lot of kinship with them. I just want to support that whole team.
Terry Thompson, candidate for re-election. Before we break, I think we'll ask Mr. Jenkins to come up. Dana Jenkins is running for re-election for Lincoln County Clerk. He has been the county clerk for a number of years, since Alberta Bryant, I do believe. That goes back a long, long time. Welcome, Dana Jenkins.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I don't quite go back to Alberta.
Okay.
Pretty close. I am Dana Jenkins, and I'm running for another term as your Lincoln County Clerk. The county clerk's office does elections, recording of deeds, passports, marriage licenses, business licenses, county archives, and board of property tax appeals. My top priority has always been to provide fast, efficient, and friendly service to the public, and I plan to continue making that my top priority. Another priority has been to find ways to increase voter turnout. One thing that we're going to be voting on in this November's election is Measure 90, which would open the primary to all candidates and all voters. I think that's something we should try. This past primary, we had a pretty low turnout, so there's a lot of non-affiliated voters that feel left out of the primary. Measure 90 would include them, so I think it's time to try an open primary in Oregon. Another priority has been to produce a local voters pamphlet. We've been doing this since 1994 in my office, and this is a good way for candidates and to get their word out and let people know how they feel on issues. So we had 29 candidates in this election's county voters pamphlet. Almost all of the local and county and district candidates chose to participate. So I plan to continue producing this county voters pamphlet. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today, and also thank the Chinook Winds Casino Resort for putting on this great event. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Questions? You talked about Measure 90. How then will the individual parties, Republicans, Democrats, and Independents, nominate candidates for the general election?
Well, everyone will be able to file to run, no matter what party they belong to, and the top two vote getters will go on to the general election. So you could have possibly two people from the same party running against each other in the general election. So it basically opens it up to all parties, all candidates.
Okay, I guess there's a follow-up question as well, Mr. Jenkins. What changes have been made to eliminate Democratic primary ballots to
Going from independence.
going to independence? Okay. What changes have been made to eliminate Democratic primary ballots going to independence?
There haven't actually been any changes made. A number of years ago, the law changed to where the major parties could open their primaries to the independent voters, the non-affiliated voters. That's the Republican Party can do it if they want, and the Democratic Party can do it if they want. They can open up the primary election to those voters. However, they decide every 2 years, I think it's February of every even numbered years if they're going to do that, and they haven't done it for the last several primary elections.
And finally, Mr. Jenkins, if you're applying for a passport through Lincoln County, what is the process and what is the cost?
The process is to bring two identical 2x2 passport pictures into the office. You also need to bring a certified copy of your birth certificate and driver's license. And the fee is $80 for children 16 and under, $110 for adults 16 and over, and there's also a $25 processing fee. It usually takes 3 to 4 weeks to get the passport. If you need it sooner, you can pay an extra fee to expedite, and you can get it in as little as 1 or 2 weeks.
And finally, sir, you have 2 minutes for summation for your candidacy for re-election.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to make a few parting remarks about this election coming up. Voter registration deadline is October 14th, which is this coming Tuesday. That's for brand new people to Oregon. If anyone has moved recently and hasn't updated their registration address, they can do that right up through Election Day and still be eligible to vote, but we encourage you to do that as soon as possible. I have some registration cards here with me today if anybody would like to update their registration. Ballots will go out on October 16th, which is this Thursday, and the deadline to return them is November 4th. Please vote early and mail in your ballot or take it to a drop site. We have drop sites at all the city halls in the county and also the county courthouse. I'd like to encourage everyone to make the choice and cast your vote. I'd like to make this the biggest turnout we've ever had, if possible, in Lincoln County. And thank you all for coming today. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Good agenda. We'll take a 60-second break, and when we return, we will begin the mayoral race for the city of Lincoln City in 60 seconds. And again, if you have questions you would like to ask of these specific candidates, Nani is in the back with the question forms from the Lincoln City Chamber of Commerce office. Write it down and sign it to be down front. Thank you. Welcome back once again to our special candidates fair. And I have just been informed the League of Women Voters have a special locked box down here. Or no? Speaking to the microphone, please, ma'am.
If you want to change your registration address, you can do it by paper, but you can do it right today online here. So that way you don't have to mail something in or forget about it.
Very good, thank you. League of Women Voters again helping put on this candidates fair. Time now to move to the mayor race for the city of Lincoln City. We have 2 candidates vying for the position this year. This is a nonpartisan race. The first candidate will be Roger Sprague, and Roger Sprague is a retired insurance owner here in Lincoln City. Mr. Sprague.
I was just telling Roger that to be politically correct, the American flag should be over here and the other flag here. I guess we can go ahead with that.
I didn't put them up.
Okay. They said we're supposed to start off with the platform. My platform is to continue the positive progress that we've made over the last 3 or 4 years. We've tackled some pretty big obstacles, and we now have one of the strongest infrastructures you'll find in coastal cities. And that's been a long process. Back in the year 2000, it was said by somebody that, and somebody in the know, that Lincoln City was one of 2 cities in all of Oregon that was in the black. And that's because in the beginning of 2000, year 2000, we started a process of budgeting out 5 years ahead. And we have continued that process in Lincoln City. And so right now, we are financially strongly solvent through the year 2019. I will continue to budget out 5 years. One of the issues that's facing Lincoln City immediately is the retirement of our city manager. He's been here 15 years, and he retires December 31st. We will have a new city manager. We will have 3 new faces on the council, none of which have ever served before. And so this new city manager is going to need to have someone on the council with strong leadership going forward. The mayor should be that leadership. I've had 15 years serving on and off the council. 3 of those terms were shortened terms because I filled in for somebody who died or somebody who left town, that sort of thing. But I've been on there for 5 terms. I'm in my 5th term as we speak. I have that background and experience, strong experience, to lead us through this transition period. And I want to make it as smooth a transition as we possibly can.
Mr. Sprague, what role do you see the mayor of Lincoln City playing outside of the city council sessions?
Well, like our previous or our current mayor, if you can be as visible as he has been going through these last 3.5 years, that is a hard act to follow. But I believe that that is the model that you should have for a mayor. A mayor needs to be seen, and the mayor needs to listen, and a mayor needs to work for the public. And I believe that that's the answer.
I have a question in reference to Lighthouse Square, Weimart, Fred Meyer. That's the way it's written,
Is that a question?
I guess.
Okay, I will answer that this way. I have heard both pro and con about whether Fred Meyer was coming here. The last I heard, Fred Meyer was not interested. So I hope that that puts that part of it to bed. There's a public hearing coming up here in just a week or 2 as to whether or not we should modify the ordinance that we have right now on the books that says that we cannot have a building larger than 60,000 square feet in Lincoln City. If we raise that figure, then it may accommodate a big box store. I can't really comment on that because as a counselor, that would be becoming, or that would come to us in the future as soon as the planning commission is through with it. So I can't say whether I'm for or against that, but that is the answer that I have to give you.
And what do you see as the #1 issue in Lincoln City?
Well, I think the streets and roads are a problem. All of our infrastructure funds are solid except streets and roads. The cost to overlay a street is expensive, but the cost, if we let those streets deteriorate to a point where they have to be dug out and then rebuilt, is 6 times higher. So the challenge going forward, I see, is to find a way to build up our street funds. We are limited in the way that we can fund those because the money comes from the room tax. And we need to find a way to put more money into our street fund, the coffer, so that we can protect and save our roads going forward.
And finally, Roger, summation for your candidacy for mayor of the city of Lincoln City.
I want to read you something that I have found. This is from a blog that my opponent wrote. And it says, the job of mayor has become too complex and time-consuming for one person to take it on alone. It goes on to say that he will create a budget team to help sort out the right priorities for citizens of Lincoln City. He's going to develop a Public Works Urban Renewal team to oversee them. He also says that there will be a team to look over the shoulder of the VCB. What he doesn't understand is that that's contrary to the city charter. The charter says that the only person who oversees the staff at City Hall is the city manager. And the council cannot, by charter, interfere in any way with the actual management. The mayor is one vote, and the mayor does not run the city. The city council makes policy and enacts ordinances. If Don thinks that the job is too big, then why is he running? I'm running because I have the time, I have the passion, and I have the experience to take Lincoln City forward, especially through this transition process. And I'm asking for your vote.
Roger Sprague, candidate for mayor of City of Lincoln City. Also running for mayor for the City of Lincoln City, nonpartisan again, is Mr. Don Williams. Don is the owner-operator of the Nell Scott Cafe here in Lincoln City. Don Williams.
Hi, before I begin, Heather, do I really have to do this to get on the Wheel of Fortune?
Yes, you do, yeah. That's it.
Okay, I figured it was that much. Hi, my name is Don Williams. I am the owner-operator of Nell Scott Cafe. I also own and operate 3 Subway restaurant franchises. I have one in Newport, the freestanding one, not the one in the Walmart, and 2 in Washington. My wife and I employ just under 50 people, depending on the season. I'm a father of 4 boys, 2 by birth, 2 by choice. My wife is my high school sweetheart. We've been married for 32 years, is Debbie. And I have a beautiful granddaughter and 1 more on the way. Why I'm running? A drive along Highway 101 tells a sad story. Dozens of empty storefronts with more coming. High youth unemployment and homelessness. Drug use and alcoholism, destroying lives. But our city council has tackled these measures by spending over 2 years crafting a vacation rental ordinance. They spent $2.5 million without a vote or even a single public hearing to buy land that they don't know what to do with. Instead of discussing ways to help our local businesses, they spent $50,000 on a consultant they haven't listened to, and at least double that amount on a staff and an attorney to whom they just gave a retroactive raise, while ignoring the suggestions of a citywide, citizen-led consensus group. We have this moment to change all that. We have a new city manager coming on, we have a new visitor bureau director, and a new mayor.
Okay. First question I have for Mr. Williams. We know you're a businessman. What do you do to help others? And they put in parentheses, charity work.
One more time.
What do you do? We know you're a businessman. What do you do to help others? And they put in parentheses, charity work.
Wow. I'm not big on telling what I do as far as my charity work. That's between myself and my wife, but I will tell you we do a significant amount of charity work in this town. We encourage people to participate in charitable acts constantly, whether through your churches, our church, or through groups like the Bay Area Merchants Association. We work hard to help people get involved in the city, whether through the food bank or other venues. That's it. Lead by example. Just lead by example. If you want to know what I do, I'll tell you personally.
And how can we help young people stay in Lincoln City to earn their living and raise their families?
Fantastic question, and that's going to be in my summation. I've got a plan together. We bought the old Taft Fire Hall, and one of my original ideas was I'm going to build a catering hall banquet facility. So I'm installing a commercial kitchen. And I thought, well, I'm not really that keen on being a caterer. But what I was thinking is I've got a fully licensed kitchen. I can take any kid in this town who's got an idea for a food product. Say you want to make cookies, you want to make candy. And I can say, come on in. I'll show you how to make that food. I'll teach you how to create the recipe to mass produce it. We'll get together with some other people and teach you how to create a marketing plan, a business plan. We'll teach you how to package it. We'll teach you how to sell it to the world on the web. I think that is one of our first approaches that we should take to helping kids stay in the city. Get them excited about creating their own future, not having a job. create your own job.
Final question, Don. How is it that the majority of your campaign funds come from out of town? How has this been promoted outside Lincoln County?
Well, most of my funds have come from out of town because most of the people that have an interest in this place are from out of town. I'm not ashamed in the least about that. The people who have had no representation in this town don't live here, but they have businesses here. They have homes here. They have interests here, yet they get completely ignored. And I'm here to stop that. I'm not here to serve them in any way more than anyone else. And I've made that clear from day one. But they want a voice in this town, and this is how they see to get it.
And Don, your summation for your candidacy for mayor of Lincoln City.
Thank you. I've served as chair of the Planning Commission with Mr. Long and Mr. Davis. We have a chance to work together on many issues where we've agreed to disagree. So as a new mayor, two new councilors coming in off the Planning Commission have worked together. I've worked closely with Mr. Ward on the Bay Area Merchants Association. We know each other. We know what we want. You have a choice, a new way of looking at things or the same old, same old. A voice for small businesses or a voice for continued governmental interference in your life. A voice for an exciting, vibrant Lincoln City that is open to new ideas and directions. Or I'm happy with the way things are going. And I'm the only candidate that can offer you this deal. If you elect me mayor, Roger gets to stay on city council. It's a twofer. Thank you.
Don Williams, candidate for mayor, City of Lincoln City. We're going to take a short break and then we'll return with the council candidates for Lincoln City in 1 minute. Schnuckwitz Casino Resort Hotel. Thanks to all of the candidates and for everybody that has taken time out to be down here this afternoon. We now move to the city council race. And we have 5 candidates that we're going to hear from. The first candidate for council, Ward 1, is Nathan Long. Nathan? Here's Nathan Long.
As you heard, my name is Nathan Long. I'm running for City Council Ward 1. First off, I am not a politician. I am a citizen, a voting citizen. And on that note, I'll give you a little of my background because not many people know who I am. I originated from Sandy, Oregon. I'm a native Oregonian. Moved down back in 1999, been here for over 15 years. Moved into the Rhodes Inn area. With my wife and 2 kids. They have now graduated and moved on. Empty nesters, yes. And from there, I take pride in my community. I became a water commissioner, which was an interesting story. Nobody was running for position number 4. I wrote my name in. I asked my wife to write my name in. We had a runoff. The other person backed down, so I ended up being on a water commission for Rhodes Inn. From there, I became a board member for REIA, and then I moved in to be the president of REIA for a short time. After being annexed into the city, it gave me the opportunity to still serve. So I applied and became a planning commissioner, and I'd love to move on to become council. And thank you very much.
All right, Nathan, question. What do you think are the pressing issues in Lincoln City, and how do you propose to solve them?
Well, there's actually, the biggest issue I see is VRDs. VRDs are not by themselves. There's three things that are involved: jobs, business, and all with VRDs, and all three of those are bound together. If you cut the money away from VRDs, you're cutting money away from business. You're cutting money away from jobs. People are losing jobs. We can't do that. We need to make sure our VRDs have their doors open and able to serve the tourism industry. What we need to do, I think, is bring back the consensus group and look at what they said and follow what they said. Because without that, we're going to lose dollars and lose jobs.
How important do you feel youth empowerment is, and how would you encourage the youth of Lincoln City to actively pursue positive activities that can better the community as well as better their education and personal lives?
I think we should run more fairs, job fairs, and invite the schools and take it to the schools. Let them see what's out there or what they can do. I know the community college has classes for, I think it's high school or junior kids to come in and start taking classes to learn what they're prepare for college. That's great, but it's not really promoted much. I think we need to advertise more for our kids, because you don't hear anything about children in this town. It's a tourism town, and you don't hear much about the locals. I think we need to start paying more attention to that, so they can move on to better things without being stuck in a low job wage.
And finally, Nathan, the city is in the process of hiring a new city manager. What should be the new city manager's first priority?
Get to know the people. Get to know who he's going to work for. That'd be his first priority in my eyes.
And your summation of your candidacy for City Council, Ward 1, please.
Well, I am part of the public. I like